On a cloudy Monday morning, Rohan woke up to his alarm, hitting snooze like he always did. He stared at the ceiling, a familiar heaviness weighing on him. His life felt like it was on pause. He had dreams, big ones. He wanted to get fit, start his own business, and move to a new city. But every time he thought about it, a voice in his head would whisper, "I'll start tomorrow." And tomorrow had become his comfort zone, his favorite excuse. He'd dragged himself out of bed, scroll through social media, and watch other people living the life he craved. Successful people, happy people, confident people. He'd sigh and think, they're just lucky. What he didn't realize was that every single one of those people had started somewhere, just like him. But Rohan never took that first step. He was waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect surge of motivation, a time that never seemed to arrive. That evening, a message popped up on his phone from an old friend, Aditya. "Hey, long time. I'm in town. Let's meet." They hadn't spoken in years. Rohan hesitated. He felt embarrassed. Aditya had launched his own startup and seemed to be thriving, while Rohan felt stuck in the same old routine. Despite his hesitation, he agreed to meet at the cafe. Aditya was full of life. After catching up on old times, Aditya asked the dreaded question, "So, what have you been up to?" Rohan laughed awkwardly. "Honestly, not much. I keep planning to change things, but I never actually start. Maybe I'm just lazy." Aditya smiled kindly. "No, you're not lazy or scared. You're waiting for everything to be perfect before you begin. But the truth is, there's no perfect day to start. You just start, and the rest follows." Rohan shrugged. "A little defensive. Easy for you to say. You already made it." Aditya leaned forward, his expression serious. "You think I just woke up one day, successful? When I started my business, I had no money, no connections, and no clue what I was doing. The only difference between us, Rohan, is that I stopped waiting for someday. I started that day." That single sentence hit Rohan harder than he expected. Start today. The words echoed in his head all night. Back home, he couldn't shake the thought. What if I just start now? He looked at his reflection in the mirror, tired eyes, messy hair, but a small spark ignited within him. He whispered to himself, "Enough waiting, I'll start today." He didn't make some grand, complicated plan. He just decided to take one small step. He went for a short run that night, even though it was late. It wasn't easy. His lungs burned, his legs ached, but for the first time in a long time, I felt alive. When he got back, sweaty and exhausted, he smiled. It wasn't just about fitness, it was about keeping a promise to himself. The next morning, he woke up early, without hitting snooze. He made a simple to-do list. Exercise for 20 minutes, read one chapter of a book, send one job application. By the end of the day, he had completed everything. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Days turned into weeks. So many mornings he didn't feel like getting up, but he'd remind himself why he started. If not today, when? Became his daily mantra. Whenever doubt crept in, he remembered Aditya's words. Slowly but surely, his entire mindset began to shift. He realized that success isn't about one giant leap. It's about the tiny, consistent steps you take every single day. One evening, after a long run, he sat in a park, watching the sunset. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Aditya. "How's the new you doing?" Rohan smiled and typed back. "Still learning, still trying, but..." "I started, yes." Reply came instantly. That's all that matters. Over the next few months, Rohan's consistency started paying off. He got fitter, more focused, and more confident. He even began working on a small business idea he had always postponed. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments of crippling self-doubt, and times he wanted to quit. But every time he felt lost, he told himself, "You started for a reason. Don't stop." No. A year after that conversation with Aditya, Rohan launched his own online business from his small bedroom. It wasn't a huge success overnight, but it was his. When he received his first order, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not because he was suddenly rich or famous, but because he had finally done what he kept promising himself he would do. Months later, he met Aditya. Again, this time, Rohan looked different, healthier, happier, and radiating confidence. Aditya smiled. So, Mr. Procrastinator, what changed? Rohan laughed. You did. Or your words did. I just got tired of waiting for my life to start. Aditya nodded in agreement. That's the thing about starting. You don't need to be ready. You just need to begin. Everything else falls into place along the way. That night, Rohan thought about how much his life had changed in a single year. It wasn't magic. It wasn't luck. It was discipline, effort, and a single decision made on an ordinary night to start today. He realized most of us spend our lives waiting for the perfect day, the perfect opportunity, the perfect motivation. But the truth is, nothing changes until you do. The right time doesn't exist. What exists is right now. The first step will always feel uncomfortable, but that's the price of growth. Eventually, Rohan was invited to speak at a local youth event about his journey. Standing in front of a crowd of young faces filled with a mix of dreams and hesitation, he smiled. I wasted years waiting for the perfect moment, but nothing happened until I decided to take action. I wasn't ready. I was scared. I failed many times, but every morning, I told myself one thing: start today, and that changed everything. The room fell silent as his words sank in. He continued, whatever your goal is, start today. Don't wait for the right mood, the right plan, or the right people. Just start. You might stumble, you might fall, but one day, you'll look back and realize that one small decision changed your whole life. After his speech, a young student approached him. Sir, I've been waiting to start my dream project for a year. I think today's the day. Rohan smiled warmly and said, then don't think. Begin. As he walked home that night, Rohan looked up at the stars and thought about the boy he used to be. One who kept saying tomorrow. He whispered to himself, I'm so glad I didn't wait any longer. Because that simple decision to start today had built the life he once only dreamed about. And that's the ultimate truth of success. Begins the moment you stop waiting and start doing. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content that inspires you to take that first step. We'll see you in the next one.